Now we will start discussing about how to set up web services using Java. There are many techniques to do web services using Java. Number one, which is called as JAX-WS, where we will set up a service which uses SOAP protocol at the background. Means it uses to transfer data in the format of XML. There's a second approach which is using REST approach. And there's a third approach where you can use Java with XML binding, and so on and so forth. For every web service you develop, you will have a server side, you will have a client side. The server will be running on the server machine, and the client, you will have the client to be connected to the server. The advantage of web services here is this. You can have the server written in Java or C# or PHP or whatsoever, and then the client can be in Java, for example. So it allows heterogeneity here. In order to set up web services, we need to have what is called as Java Enterprise Edition. If you download it and you have to install Java Enterprise Edition, then you will have a folder called Glassfish. It depends on in which drive you install it. So if you go into Glassfish, there is a Glassfish folder inside Glassfish 4 folder. Inside there's a bin folder. You will find a lot of batch files here. These are used to start services. Note, we are going to do all this coding using NetBeans here. So if you set up a web service in NetBeans and you start it, it's going to start the application server, which is the main server to host your web service. It will deploy your service on the application server. It will start the server, it will deploy the server. All these things it will do automatically. But instead, we are going to do it from the command line using what is called start serve. Okay, I type str, then I press a tab. Basically, you have to type until you have no ambiguity, unambiguous nature in the command. Then you can press a tab. It will complete for you. Then if you press enter, it's going to start the server for you. Keep in mind, sometimes the server might not start if there is some other service which is running on the same port number or something else is running, then it won't start. So let's see how to check whether there are services running or not. Let's open another command prompt. We can issue the command netstat -ano. Press enter. This gives you a list of services which are running on your machine. So if you scroll up, you can see it starts with TCP protocol and it ends up with UDP protocol. When it says 0.0.0.0, it really means it runs on your machine. Doesn't matter if you have more than one network interface, means we have more than one IP address. It can run on any IP address on your machine. Similarly, if you see 127.0.0.1, it runs on your local host IP. Okay, and if you see a square bracket, generally this means it is running on IP version 6. And square bracket with nothing inside is similar to 0.0.0.0 in IP version 4. And you can see the similarity appears for UDP as well. So if you scroll up, you look for what is called 8080 port number. That is a port number on which this Glassfish, which is your application server, runs. So this is your application server and this is the process ID 1404. In case you find something running on a port number and you don't want that to stop your your Glassfish application server to run, you can kill it up using task kill. -f means forcibly you can kill, /PID, and you write the number, press enter. This will kill the service. Okay, right now I'm going to open the browser and I'm going to check whether my server page works or not. So 127.0.0.0.1 8080. This says that Glassfish server, the server is running. So this is the basic page which is hosted by the Glassfish. Then you go into the next one, go to administration control. If you click on this, it's going to open you the administration control console. This is where you can deploy something if you want to deploy it yourself. Generally, NetBeans does it for you, but you can deploy it also. And if you want to do like, you want to undeploy a service, you want to change something, you can do all these things here. Please note the port number changes to 4848. It's asking me for some username, password. In your case, it might not ask sometimes. It depends on. So I'll get back to you and explain what is the issue of this username password. Right, when you install your Glassfish, generally there is no username password. It will open without any username and password. But when you start your Glassfish without starting from the command line, you start it from the NetBeans itself, it might use some default username and password. And if you don't know the username and password, there is a procedure to get rid of it or to change it to a password which you know. First thing to do is to go into C drive, go to Glassfish 4, go to Glassfish folder. You will find here domains. Actually, the Glassfish or the application server is going to create a domain. Okay, it's creating a domain here. So this is the name of your domain. Initial domain is called as domain 1. If you scroll down somewhere here in the display which has displayed to you, you will find it will mention it is about domain 1. Okay, if you want to change the domain, you can change the domain. Doesn't matter. Okay, so let's go to the domain 1. Inside you have config. If you right click and open this file, admin-key file, if you open it, you will see the username is admin. The password is encrypted, so you won't see the password here. So if you don't know what's the username, you can find it here. And if you know the password, you can log in. That's a different story. But in case we have forgotten both, you don't know what's the username, you don't know what's the password, even though I can find the password here in this file, admin key file, but yet I don't know what is the password. So what should I do? Then what you do is this. Open a command prompt again. Just go to the same folder, cd glassfish, then again glassfish /bin. Put AR to see the commands here. You will find a command called asadbin. You find it here. Okay. So type in asadbin, press enter. It will come up with this level here, and you can type help if you want to know what are the options you have. There are plenty of options in here, by the way. Okay. So let's say quit on this. You have the commands here. You can type the commands. For this, there's a specific command you have to use. The command we are going to use now is called as create domain. You will create a new domain. Before you create a new domain, go to the same folder, which is here. Under bin folder, you are here. Okay. And then you create a file. Just open a file, a notepad. And then in that notepad, you will write here this statement. as_admin_password is equal to, you put your password there. Okay. So you can put any password, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatsoever. Save this file. Let's say we save it as what is called pass file. Okay, PASSFILE. I don't use any extension for this file, so you don't need an extension. So I'm going to save it back. C glassfish, then I'm just going to click on this, say this, and then say pass file. Okay, it says already exists, doesn't matter. So I'm going to override it. So go back to your command prompt, type create domain. Okay, this is the command we are going to type in. So it's called create domain. Then we will use the statement like this, -user. Okay, let me just move this here. -user, and then give a administration username. I'm saying admin. You can give any name. So admin. Right. Note before user we have to write double dash, not single dash. Double dash again. Password file. Put the file name. Pass file is the file name. Then you have to give a name of a domain. Let's call it as domain 2. If you remember, previously we have what is called as domain 1. Right, under domains you have domain 1. You can give any name, doesn't matter, and you press enter. So this will create a domain for you here. So if you go and see, it will create a domain here. Okay, so that will be a domain for you in that folder. Then you can go into config. You have this file, admin key file. Copy this file here. Go back to the domain 1 and go to config and paste that file here. Okay, paste that file. Now it will override the existing file. After this, if you start your domain, basically you have to start your server using start serv. Before you start, you can go to the domains, you can delete the new domain you have created, because if you start your application server with 2 domains existing, it will ask you which domain I should start. So basically what you do, remove the second domain. Now with the first domain, you start your start server, it'll ask you for a username password in the browser. When it goes to localhost 4848 port number, you can type in admin and the password you typed in this file. Whatever you typed here is the password now. So password recovery is this procedure. So I'm going to delete my domain too because I don't need it right now. So going back, now this is done. The Apache the Glassfish application server runs nicely. There's no problem with it. And I can see is there any deployed applications there. List deployed application. Normally it takes a little bit of time to give you the output. So you need to wait little time. So you can see there are some services running. Let me open them. Let me undeploy them, okay? Because we are going to do fresh now. So undeploy, both of them has been undeployed right now. So let us start writing a web service. As I have told you earlier, you need to have a server side, you need to have a client side. So let's start the server side. We create a new project. To do a server side, you will say Java web application. You give next, you give a name for it. Let's call it as hello service. Okay, and you can choose the folder you want to store. I'm storing it under my practice folder, which is here. I have a practice folder, I have a web service folder, all my services will come here. Then I give next, and I'm using Glassfish Server 4.0. I'm using the Java AA, which is Enterprise Edition 7, and this is my path. Leave it as it is, go next. You don't need to choose any services here, we are not using them, finish. To host a web service, you need either a web container or a EJB container. Right now, we have created a web container. This is what we did until now is a web container. This does not have any web service inside. It has nothing. If you go to the source package, you see default package is nothing, no source. It has only one index file, which is this file, which is open here. And you will see in the body, it says to do, write content, to supply, whatever. There's nothing, literally nothing. So right click on your package, on your project, and click on new, select web service. Okay, let's call this as hello web service. You can call anything, hello web service. And you have to give a package name, it is advisable. So we will also give it hello web service. So our class will be hello web service. Our package will be also hello web service. So you can say hello web service dot hello web service will be your actual project. Click finish. You can see now it is creating the web service. If you go down here, you will find hello web service is your package name. This is your file name, which is your Java program. And it has created something here. Remember, for the web service, you have to say at web service, means it's a web service. This is a web method somebody can call. We don't want the method called hello. So what we will do, we will copy paste some codes which is available with us right now. So I'm going to use this page as a reference to use it. So let's copy these two things here and also this. So here I'm creating a variable string message and I'm saying it is hello with a comma and a space here at the end. There's a space here. And this hello should not be hello here. It should be actually a constructor, okay, without any arguments. So this is a constructor for this class. Then I have a method called say hello. Okay, this is the method which I want others to call. The client will call this method. So now let us save this. This is done. So this is our web service and I can click on this and I can say run. When I click on run, meaning it will check whether the Glassfish is running. You can watch out for the output here. You see it has created the necessary folders. It has copied the files. Then it is starting the Glassfish server. It know already Glassfish is running. Okay, it says running. Then it is giving you the service and that's it. It's done. So it has run and it has come to this page. What do you find here? To do web content. What is that? This actually comes from the index.html. If you remember our index.html, which is this file here. This is the body. Okay, nothing else. And you will see the title to do supplier title, which is this guy. So if I really want to access my service, I have to write like this. Hello web service. This is my service. Why I typed hello web service? Because that is my class name. Okay, if you remember, this is my class name. So it talks to you what is my web service, how can I access it, and gives you the address of my web service. It gives me the WSDL. If I click on this for any web service with the web service name, if you put question mark WSDL, it's going to give you the WSDL file. Let's open another tab so we can see it easily. Open a new tab, colon, question mark WSDL, presenter. So this is the WSDL file which is auto-generated. So now we have deployed a service. Clearly the server is ready. If I want to run a client, I should write a client program separately. Let's say I'm not interested in writing a client program. Can I test my application? Yes, you can test your application without writing a client. How to do it? Use the same service details at the top, URL, question mark, type the word tester. Okay, TESTER, press enter. It'll give you a testing service now. Need to give it some little time so it can load. So this is your testing one. All right, so you can access WSDL using question mark WSDL. You can access the testing client using question mark tester. So this is my method. If you note, I have my say hello and I need to pass some parameters. Let's say I write here testing. This is the parameter I'm passing. Click on say hello. You will see it will give you. This is the parameter I pass. It's a string parameter. Type is string. This is what I got as written. Hello space, hello comma space testing. How I got it? This is from here, as you know. Hello comma and the name, and the name is here, and there's a dot. So it gives you a dot at the end also. And this is my SOAP request. This is my SOAP reply. As I have told you earlier, we are using JAX WX, JAX-WX, WS. So here, this is your request. I'm calling a say hello method with a parameter called testing. And here it goes and gets a response, say hello response, and this is the response I get. So now the whole thing is done. We have a web service and we have a client, really not a client, but client on the browser. So let's see the structure here. You have a web pages, you will have some index file. You want to change it, you can change. You can put some link to the necessary files, that's up to you. You can write some description about your pages, about your project. Source file contains the actual source file. Test packages, you don't have any test packages in the library. We are referring to the Glassfish server and the JDK. Again, test library comes from the Glassfish. Let's close each one. There's a web service. This is your web service, by the way. And it supports two methods. One is hello web service, void return. That is your constructor. Say hello, it is returning a string. All right. And then you will find here configuration files which also exist there. So these are the structures of a web service. Let's write a client. Okay, we have written the server. Let's write a client. So we are going to write a client now. Again, new project. Choose Java, choose application. We are not hosting any web service here. We are only writing a client. So let's call hello client. Okay, give some name. Depends when you want to create a main method. In our case, we need a main method. Okay, in certain cases, we won't use main methods, for which you will see examples in the future. Okay, I'll give you some other video examples. Click finish. It should create your project now. It is a new project. Okay, it's a new project. It has whatever you need. Now right click on the project. It's not a web service yet. There is no web service here. Right click on it. On the project, click new, there is web service client, click on it. Now is the point. When we want to create a web service, a client, it needs the WSDL file. Okay, you can give a WSDL file, click here, put the URL from here. For example, go here, copy paste this guys. If you have it from somebody else, you can just copy paste. So the advantage right now is this. Let's say someone is hosting some web service somewhere. You go to the internet, you find the URL link which has the WSDL, link to the WSDL file. Copy that, paste it here. That's it. Then you can create a client for somebody else's application. Okay, let's go down to the project. Because it is local to my machine, I will just choose it from my machine itself. So you can see this is my service. Okay, I choose only a service, not the methods inside. Give OK here. I've chosen them. Okay, here it talks about whether you want a package name. You can leave it blank, no problem. Click finish. Okay, so you'll see it's going to create web service. What is it is doing? The main thing we need to understand, what did it do? really we will see the commands and we will also understand what it has done for us. Okay, it is done. Let's see. It is using ant. What is the use of ant? Ant is generally used to do many things sequentially for us, like a make file, like a batch file. You can put all the details. Please do compile this, then you have to do deploy it or import it, whatever, everything to do. So first thing it initialized, there was nothing to initialize. Then it has ws import. So it created a necessary folder called generated sources under build. So if you go to my mission here, go to web services, you will see the clients, you will see build, there is generated sources, Java X, hello web service. You see it has all the programs here. What it does is it uses a command called ws import. There's a command. From that command, it gets all these files here. Basically, it is going to refer to the WSDL file and get the files. And this is what it does. It creates web service references. So this is the reference to the web service. Okay. Using the reference, I can call the web service. So how to do it? Let's go down here. Let's call this say hello here. Drag and drop it here. Okay. Just drag and drop. Nothing else. Then go to your main method. Just write here system.out.println. Okay, let's call it say hello with testing, like what we did before. Put a semicolon. We want to close the statement. All right. Say testing is a string, so we need to pass it as a string. And this is done. So what I'm doing, I'm calling this method as if it is my local method. Is it really a local method? No, it's not a local method. Okay, you can see it refers to hello web service dot hello web service underscore service. What is that? This is the file it has generated for me from the web service. This is the one. I never wrote such a program called hello web service under web service. Okay, it has created this file from my WSDL file. We don't worry about these files, but it creates all whatever we need. So you will see you can give any WSDL file, it will generate the necessary for you. All right, so let's try to run the program. Click on this, click run. So it's going to run now. Right, it got hello testing. So it is working fine. So I'm able to use my service and I'm going to get answer. I'm getting answers here. Right, let's do some little things here. Let's go back to the folder of web services. Right, dir, go into hello service. Let's see WSDL. So if you go into this folder, I'm now inside web services hello service. Okay, and you can see inside web there's nothing. Let's search for the WSDL file. No such things. Okay, so where does the WSDL file come from then? All right, so that is a question mark. If you go down to this guy here and search for WSDL again, right, it should bring WSDL files from here. You will find there are some WSDL files, not the ones we wanted, but some other WSDL file is there. Okay, so if I use this WSDL file, can I generate the Java files myself? So I'm going to do something. I'm going to copy this file, go into my practice web service folder, just copy it here. Okay, and I will go into the prompt. Where is my prompt? Here. Let's go back to this folder. So you will find my wsaat.wsdl is here. So let me type what is called ws import. So what is ws import? Use of this command is to find out or is to generate the necessary Java files from a WSDL file. Actually, the NetBeans does these things at the background, but we want to know how it does. So let's do it. WS imports, ws and file name, enter. So what it does, it gives you some kind of exceptions here. Okay, it could not find some other file. Basically, it depends on some other file. That's why it gives you compliant. You have to read the errors carefully. It says it doesn't have something called XSD and some other files. Let's go back to the same folder where we have copied that file from. Okay, go down, open the file location. You will see you need these files. Okay, let's copy the whole chunk and let's create a folder here. Okay, let's call it ws import dash testing. We are going to test ws import. Copy everything here. Let's remove the wsdl, wsat, wsdl from that folder. Go back to the command prompt. Now let's go into our folder ws import testing, dir, ws import, and then let's say wsat, wsdl. See what's going to do. Open the folder here. So what it is doing, it's ignoring certain file, don't worry about it. Then it says generating code, compiling. So you will see here, go inside, you will find all what you want is inside. You see all the class files, this is compiled. Okay, so you can go and see this is where it has the necessary files. You might ask me, where are my Java files? I only see the class files. So what you can do is this. Let's go down here, back to the same place. Let's delete these two folders which it has just now created, delete them. Okay, we want to do like this. We will say minus verbose, meaning verbose means we'll talk a lot. It will tell you what are the steps it is doing, because here it doesn't tell me what it did, what is the file it generated. Then you can use minus keep. Keep means keep the Java file, don't delete the Java file. So that is the idea here. So if you want details, just press ws import and enter, it will give you all the details for you. Minus keep here, keep generated files. Minus verbose, output messages about what the compiler is doing, and so on. There are so many options here. And minus D will tell you what is the destination folder where you want to store the output. Okay, all these things. So you can see I can store them in a folder called generated, minus D generated. I can also specify a WSDL from the internet using a URL. Okay, so let's press enter now. See what happens. This time it gives me details. You see what is the Java, and it is compiling Java C minus D minus class path. All the class path is included. It will include lots of files. You see minus xboot class path, and it uses many things, and it's using many of my Java program to compile. So if you go down inside now, you see you have the Java as well as the class file. So this is what ws import does. Ws import, basic job of ws import is to generate the Java files, compile them into a class file. This is the job of ws import. There is another command what is called as wsgen. You might ask me, how am I getting all these commands? Where are those commands? So you can find them out. Basically, if you, let me see. Okay, you can go down here. Okay, at the inside the bin folder inside Glassfish, if you scroll down here, you will find ws import is here, wsgen is here, ws deploy, ws compile, all these things are there. So if you want to generate, okay, files, you want to generate the wsdl file from the Java file, the reverse. Okay, you can do that. So wsgen. So you need to provide the details. Okay, wsgen minus cp class path from dot com dot, I don't know the exact extension here. So you have to use this com dot sun dot like this. Let's copy this line, right click, mark it, select all the way until here. Okay, press enter and right click here, paste it. Right, delete all this. You might need to do a little bit of work here. Okay, if you don't have all this package path and things, you can do it direct. I'm changing all the slash into a dot. Remember, really it's a file structure, but to say it's a package, we use a dot. So press enter. So you see it gives me an error because it doesn't contain a web service endpoint. So I need to know what is the end point of this? What is the main one? Which one of them is the main method here? I don't know. Okay, that is not, I cannot go into each one and check. So instead, what I will do is this. I will go to my web service, hello service example, go to the build folder. Okay, you will find generated sources. No, not here. So here we have, this is the folder. So open the folder. Let's see what is the folder. So it's under build, web, and so on. So let's go into that folder, try to generate the WSDL from that file, because we know where is the main program there. Okay. Otherwise we need to search in that list. Go into build, go into web, go into web INF. So you can see where it is storing your class files. Okay. And it has a folder called classes. Here you will find the hello web service. Remember, this is your package name, and here you have the task here. Okay, let's go one step back. WS, we are going to use WS import now, because we are going to get WS generation. We want to generate the WSDL file. -cp dot from here hello web service dot hello web service. Enter. Okay, so you can see I did it from here, and you go back here, it has generated the respective files here. Okay, so you can generate the WSDL file using this command called wsgen. So wsgen will generate the file. And if you want to generate the actual WSDL file, right now it did not generate the WSDL file, it did generate something else. Okay, so if suppose I only want to generate the WSDL file specifically, okay, let me delete this folder or leave it as it is. -WSDL, put it here. Now you will see it will create the WSDL file for me. You can see this is my WSDL file. So you can see the WSDL file can be generated. Basically, this is a command which runs at the background of NetBeans, and it generates the WSDL file for me. So generation of WSDL file is through this command, which I will copy paste and put in our Word file, so we will know in our class discussions file. So here you can see this is my command. The command states we use wsgen -cp dot means the current folder from current. Why I use hello web service dot hello web service? Because if you go and look at our program here, okay, inside the web service, which is your service here, you can see in my program, let's go down here, the hello web service, the first one is my package name, and the second one is a class name. So I've used a package name dot the class name. Remember, in the folder it would have created a folder by that name, but don't go into that folder. You can see here there is a folder by the package name, then there's a class file. But you need to come one step before, meaning outside the package name, the folder that has the package name. Then you issue this command wsgen wsgen blank space -cp dot hello web service and dot the class name -WSDL. If you don't put -WSDL, it will not generate the WSDL for you. Okay, this is the point. Number two, from the WSDL, if you want to generate, so this is like to generate WSDL file. Okay, next, to generate the class files from the WSDL file. Okay, that is WS import. Okay, you can import them. So when you want to import them, you use the other command which I have shown you a few minutes ago. So which is, let me copy that command also for you. So you can see this was the command we used. WS import -verbose -keep and then file name dot WSDL, whatever the WSDL is. You can also give the URL if you know the URL there. So this is the whole thing. Okay. And these things are done at the background of NetBeans. With this, we will start the first example of web service, JAX with WS. The connections go through with SOAP protocol. We will continue the next example in the next video.